So in today's video we are making our own bezels to use for jewellery. Let's go. Right, we are back. 100 videos. We made it. It's taken about 2 years to get here roughly. I think it's coming up to my second year on YouTube now as well. So wow, it's been crazy. Thank you everyone for the support. Right, okay, so something I've not seen done before, maybe because it's a bad idea, I don't know. But you may have seen the wire wrap video I did where we made the bezel and made the tree. And I've come close to doing this a couple of times, but it never really clicked that we could actually use these for resin bezels using our bezel tape. Instead of keep buying these, we can come close, and these can be done in so many different ways. But we're just going to have a little play around today and just make up some bezels using different additives, glitters, foils, whatnot, and just see how it goes. And I'll probably try one or two out and show you the end results. Right, let's go. So a lot of the stuff I'm going to be using today are from the Resin UV kit, the beginner starter kit. Especially the moulds. We're going to be using those to make the bezels. These kits do come with the tape, lots of glitters and foils and flowers, stuff like that, and it obviously comes with the light that I use. So most of the stuff I'm going to be using from this kit. Most of you have probably got this stuff individually, and you can do this with 2-part resin. Focus. Let's put that there. Focus, that's better. Yes, you can do this with 2-part resin. With UV resin, it's so quick. It's so fast to be able to do this. And then you can always fill the bezels with 2-part as well. You don't have to use the UV, but just play around with it. But we are going to be using some gold foil. This isn't in the Resin kit. This is a separate brand. But again, all the links that I use, I will put into the description. We're also going to use some of the Resin mica powders. Not all of them. I just want to give one or two maybe a try just to see how they come out. Yeah, enough waffling. Let's crack on. So I'm going to cut a lot of this video out because there's going to be a lot of mixing and lots of curing. So I'll just show you what I'm doing in each one and just go from there. So the kit also comes with a handy, really tiny, cute little bottle of UV resin. So I've just poured some into my little mixing cup. We're going to start with the gold foil, and I'm just going to add a leaf, and we're just going to mix that and break that leaf into lots of little leaves. I'm just using my dotting tool to break it up, but I'm going to add some more foil. Now I haven't tried, but you could apply the foil into the mould first. I think it would work, because the UV resin would just bond and hold all of that afterwards anyway. So it should work. So then we just pour that into our mould. And we can spread the foil around a bit more after we've added that. Because you can see it's quite concentrated in these two sides here. But the thing with UV resin as well is it does shrink when it's curing. So I do want the side we're working on at the moment that's facing up to be the front of the bezel. The reason being is because the back will be the flattest, so that will adhere to the bezel tape really well. As always, massive shout out to my channel members. Thank you very much, especially to those who have been with me since the beginning, and to those new who have recently joined. I've had quite a few new members. I'll be adding some new macro to the membership community tab soon. So we're just spreading those out, just making sure that they're, you know, evenly spread as much as we can get. And I've finally taken the advice that many of you have given me. I'm just going to use that mirror underneath my mould and then just give that Helps if you turn your power on. Just going to give that a cure for a couple of minutes. Again, I'm going to skip the rest of explaining the curing and stuff, and we'll crack on once I've made a few more. So there we have our first one, and you can always take the sharpness off the outer edges. The inner edges won't matter so much because we're going to fill those with resin. Right, let's move on. Let's try a gold mica. This is from the 36 mica set. It's all stuck. Again, you could probably brush this into the mould, I suppose. But by brushing it into the mould, you might end up with a matte finish. So we're just going to mix that up. We're going to go with a different shape for this one. It's more of a caramel colour. It's not really the gold that you'd see on a gold bezel. It's not quite the same effect. But if you're using 2-part, you could use a gold metallic alcohol ink that may be better for that. And there we have the gold ring. And now I've switched to the larger mould. Now you haven't really got much to play around in with these, but we're going to go in with some glitter. And most of my viewers know I really do not like glitter. I picked the wrong profession. I'm kind of one of those people that freak out with birthday or Christmas cards that have got glitter on if I get it on my hands, if I look in the mirror and it's on my face. I'm getting better, but I still really try to avoid using it. So I'm being brave today. I'm being brave. I'm just going to really mix that up. And to those who recommended this mirror trick, it really does work. I wish I'd used it sooner. And there you can see where the UV resin has shrunk. But we can just dome that, and it's easier to just do that now. And it is definitely easier to do it whilst it's in the mould instead of taking it out. Just gives a better finish. Less sharpness on the edges. And then we'll just use our little tool, our little dotting tool. Now I know its name. And just spread that out to all of the edges. Make sure you go around the back of the knobbly bit. Now you can see a much better domed piece ready to use. Now we're going to try some of the Lex Resin flakes that come in the kit. And when I made this one, I didn't realise that this kit had some in there as well, which is quite handy, but they're lots of different colours, so I think I'm going to go with the pink that's down there. Now, some of these flakes are quite large, so I'm going to have to sift through and pick out the smaller bits, otherwise they're just going to stick out of the mould. And there we have that one. I really like that one in the light, it's really, really nice. And for this one, I'm going to try applying the gold leaf inside and just see how different it comes out. So I'm just going to keep laying the leaf, just pushing it down with this paintbrush. Doesn't matter if there's any gaps, it'll just add to the effect. So once you've got the gold leaf in there, just brush out any excess that's not stuck to the mould, because that could cause some bubbles. Just really push down, make sure that has stuck. It doesn't matter if any is hanging over the edges, and that can come off afterwards. And we're just going to top that up and then give that a cure. Hopefully it'll come out a bit different. If not, I tried. So obviously the bottom will be the front on this piece. Hopefully. I mean, it could be the other way around if it doesn't work out. Just make sure it's domed enough. And I think I'll make this the last one, but you could do liquid, you could use liquid dyes, you could even go as far as glow powders. Just play around with different ideas, but just don't use alcohol inks, because alcohol inks and UV resin just do not mix. Again, any of that excess we'll just brush off. And if there's any kind of sharp bits, I like to use a cuticle tool and just run that along and just remove those as you need to. And you can see that one didn't really work. It didn't really bond, so I'm not going to use that one. I'll keep it in there as experience. It didn't really stick. So we have a few examples. I think this one is my favourite, so we're definitely going to do something with that now. And we're going to do something with that. I'm not too keen on that. It just looks looks to me a bit tacky. I'm not keen on that. But play around with different ideas, and I might use one of these two. I'm not sure yet. So the same as any normal metal bezel, we're just going to use some bezel tape. And what side is the most domed? So that's the flat back. So we're just going to lay that on our tape and just push that down, just to make a good seal so no resin can leak underneath. So I'm being lazy. I was thinking about using the 2-part, but I'll just make it quick and simple. Again, this one I'm just going to go in with some dried flowers just to see how it comes out. You could do this with lots of different techniques that I've shown in my YouTube video. You could do this with peat tree if you're using 2-part. It's not too shallow, so peat tree would work. But it is merely just to show that you can make your own bezels really quick and easy that do look really nice. So I'm just spreading that around to all of the edges. I haven't filled it up, I've only put a small amount in. Again, if you're using 2-part, this would be your first layer. And I'm just going to use some of the little dried flowers from the Let's Resin UV kit. Some of them are not the greatest. I'm not sure if I've got the back or the front. I think I've got them in right. But we're just going to position those. They're going to move a bit. Just don't prod them too much, because they're very fragile and they can mark very easily. And then I'm just going to add 1 or 2 of the leaves from the same kit. Oh no, it's gone in the wrong way. Well, not the wrong way, but it's flopped over. It's not going well. And before it drifts anymore, I'm just going to cure that. Where's my mirror? No, I'm not going to mirror it. I'm just going to quickly cure it. I think I should have used something that wasn't yellow, because the gold frame is kind of taking away the focus on the flowers. So I'm just topping this up. You could potentially dome this more than what the frame is, if you wanted to. So I'm just working that around. See a couple of bubbles that I missed in the first layer. It doesn't matter. So that would be your second layer of regular resin, but we'd need to cover that now just to let the resin sink into the flowers and also release any bubbles. What can I cover it with? Anything, that will do. Here's another really good idea. If you have this mould, which I used to use all the time, I do need to start using it again, and you make pieces like this that I've done in previous videos. This is, I do believe, the one next to the square shapes here, but it also comes in a bigger dome, which I do believe is these two down here. So I've just made another frame using some, I think this is the orchid mica powder. Now what we can do is set this inside there. So I tried to colour match the alcohol ink as best I could. So to do this, again I'm using UV. It would be best if you used 2-part. I'm just going to add some UV resin into the bezel. And again, just spread that around. Trying to keep this video fairly straightforward, fairly short. It doesn't really matter about the bubbles. Just want that covered. You can see where I'm going with this, hopefully. Let's get our mirror ready. And we're just going to pop that inside. Again, you don't have to go with this colour. I just wanted to get a fairly similar colour match. Now, should I dome the piece to match the level of the bezel? I think I should. And again, I would highly recommend using 2-part for this instead of UV. And we're just going to cover the whole piece. And once you're happy, just give that a blast. What I will say about this is I don't think the mirror's going to work. So we may have to flip it over manually without making a mess. But if we cure the top side, it would be a lot easier to do that. So I have flipped my lamp over and I want it to be close because I need to get in all these tiny little gaps to cure the resin in place. Otherwise we could end up with leakage. So I'm just making sure that I'm turning it so there's not too much heat until that has fully cured. So I have a bubble in the back. That's because I didn't make sure that the back was flat, fully flat, before I submerged it into the UV resin. But there you go. It's just another idea. It's a bit gappy around this side. I didn't make sure it was centered. Right, let's show the others off. As always, give the video a thumbs up, drop me a comment, and if you haven't subscribed, hit that button for me. Wasn't too keen on this one. I'm not the best when it comes to dried flowers and placement, but you can see what you can do with these frames. Really simple. Again, you can play around and just have lots of trial runs with different additives. You just need to dress them up. The kit does come with some choker necklaces, I think. Yeah, it comes with a pack, and you've got some jump rings in there and some earrings, loops. I'll make the last one up quick. There it is. I think this one's my favourite. The flowers have gone a bit... As part of the pressing process, when the flowers are pressed, it kind of damages the petals. I've got a tiny little bubble down there. But I still prefer this bezel to the other ones. And of course this one. It's pretty cool. So yeah. 100 videos. Woohoo! Right, let's go for the next 100. And I will see you for the next one. Bye for now.